a week to make the moon and the stars, the sun and the earth and Jupiter and Mars. A loving and patient he must be. He's still working on me. There really ought to be a sign upon my heart. Don't judge him yet, there's a long finished part. But I'll be better just according to his plan. Fashioned by the masses now in hand. He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took him just a week to make the moon and the stars, the sun and the earth and Jupiter and Mars. How loving and patient he must be. He's still working on me. He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took him just a week to make the moon and the stars, the sun and the earth and Jupiter and Mars. How loving and patient he must be. He's still working on me. He's still working on me.
Good morning, boys and girls. This week we've learned Jesus is the vine. With him I grow fruit very fine. Love, joy, and peace are three of the fruits Jesus wants from me. Patience, kindness, and goodness too. These are the things Jesus wants us to do. Faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. These are the fruits Jesus wants us to grow. Today is our last day of VBS. I hope you remember all we learned this week and that you are blessed. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Let us pray. Dear kind and eternal Father, thank you for life, health, and strength for waking us up this morning. May you be with us throughout this program, dear Father. May you help us to have fun and to learn more about you, dear Father. May you grant us a peaceful day, and may you be with all the children, all the teachers. In Jesus' name, amen.
He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took him just a week to make the moon and stars, the sun and the earth and Jupiter and Mars. How loving and patient he must be. He's still working on me. There really ought to be a sign upon my heart. Don't judge him yet, there's an unfinished part. But I'll be perfect just according to his plan, fashioned by the master's loving hand. He's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took him just a week to make the moon and stars, the sun and the earth and Jupiter and Mars. How loving and patient he must be. He's still working on me. He's still working on me. He's still working on me.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance. And such there is no law.
He's able, I know he is able. I know my Lord is able to carry me through. He's able, I know he is able. I know my Lord is able to carry me through. For he has healed the brokenhearted and set the captive free. He made the lame to walk and he caused the blind to see. He's able, deep down in my heart. I love you, Jesus, deep down in my heart. Talk about deep, deep down, down, deep down in my heart. Talk about deep, deep down, down, deep down in my heart. I hate you, Satan, get out of my life. I hate you, Satan, get out of my life. Talk about get out of my life. Talk about get out of my life. I've got a joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got a joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to say I am so happy, so very happy, for I got the love of Jesus in my heart. I am so happy, so very happy, for I got the love of Jesus in my heart. I know the devil doesn't like it, but it's down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I know the devil doesn't like it, but it's down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to say I am so happy, so very happy, for I got the love of Jesus in my heart. I am so happy, so very happy, for I got the love of Jesus in my heart. I am a C, I am a CH, I am a CHRISTIAN, and I will CHRIST in my HEART, and I will LIVETERLALY. I am a C, I am a CH, I am a CHRISTIAN, Christian, and I will CHRIST in my HEART, and I will LIVETERLALY. This is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice, we shall rejoice, and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Oh, this is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made.
Good morning, boys and girls. This morning our story will be entitled Daniel and the Lion's Den. Now when the Medes and the Persians conquered the Babylonian Empire, they extended the dominion over almost all the Old Testament world. Darius, king of this vast empire, had chosen over 100 princesses to help him govern the people. King Darius had a high regard for the intelligence of other men, and Daniel, because of his great wisdom, was a favorite of the king. Daniel was given the place of authority over all other princes. Only the king could tell Daniel what to do. Because of Daniel's position with the kingdom, the other princes resented him. Jealousy made them bitter, and they plotted to get rid of Daniel. If Daniel were out of the way, one of them would be put in his place. So the princes started to spy on Daniel. They watched every move that Daniel made. They were hoping that their leader would do something wrong so that they could run and tell the king. But Daniel was a good man. Day by day, Daniel lived as the Lord would have him live, and the princes were greatly disappointed to find nothing wrong with Daniel's conduct. Spying on Daniel was proving to be a waste of their time. To rob this man of his position and authority, the princes knew they must think of a plan that would trick Daniel into disobeying the king. For the evil men came up with a devious idea. The princes gathered together outside the palace and asked for permission to appear before the king. The king was surprised when he heard the request. Such a thing was not at all common, as the rulers of the provinces were called together only by a royal decree. Still, the king was curious. What was it the princes wanted? It must be very important, thought the king, otherwise the princes would never dare to ask for such a thing. So the king gave them permission to come before him, and the one who had been chosen to speak for the group stepped forward with the usual greeting. King Darius, live forever, he said. And then he went on to tell the king that the princes of the kingdom were anxious that a new law be made as a special honor to their beloved ruler. No one thought the entire kingdom was to ask anyone, God or man, for anything for 30 days, unless it be asked of the king, and if anyone broke the law, that person would be thrown in the lion's den. King Darius was flattered by such a request. It didn't even occur to the king that Daniel might have been left out of the planning, so he signed their decree and made it law. When Daniel heard about the law, he knew in his heart that it was a trap that they had set for him. Daniel knew the next time he got on his knees before his open window to ask God for divine guidance and continued blessing, the men who had plotted this thing would report him to the king. Daniel could have closed his window and prayed to God in secret, but Daniel knew that to do such a thing would be cowardly. He also knew that regardless of anything, God's will in his life must be done. So Daniel continued to pray before his open window, just as he had done before. And this was the moment the princes were waiting for. Daniel was breaking the law. According to the signed decree, Daniel would be thrown to the lion's den. When the princes came to the king and demanded that Daniel be thrown to the lions, King Darius realized the cruel purpose of their law. This was no law to honor the king. It was an evil plot to get rid of Daniel. King Darius was very fond of Daniel. He considered Daniel a very trustworthy friend, and he greatly relied on the judgment of this wise man. But the king was trapped. According to the law, Daniel must die. King Darius spent the day searching through the law, hoping to find a way he could save his friend, but the law was clear. Once the king had signed the law, not even the king himself could undo what he had done. With the settling of the sun, the king was forced to command that Daniel be seized and taken to the place where the lions were kept. The animals were crazy with hunger, and whatever was thrown to them was instantly torn to pieces. The king told Daniel how sorry he was, how he had been trapped into doing this thing, and how according to the law of the Mede and the Persian, not even the king could revoke a royal decree. And then Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. And a great stone was brought and placed over the hole. And the seal of the king was placed on the covering so that no one would dare to remove it. The king returned to the palace with a very heavy heart. All night long the king thought about Daniel and wondered if he would ever see or hear his voice of his friend. Daniel must have known about the law, and yet Daniel continued to pray. Was it possible that God could save Daniel from the lions? When the rays of the morning sun told King Darius that his night of despair was over, the king hurried, dressed himself, and he ran to the place where the lions were kept and ordered the stone to be taken away. The stone was removed, and the king cried out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, is your God able to deliver you from the lions?" And the King Darius listened, hoping to hear the voice of his friend. "O king, live forever," came the reply. "My God had sent his angels and had shut the lion's mouth. They have not hurt me. God found me innocent before him and also before you, O king." The king was happy to hear the voice of Daniel, and he commanded that his friend be taken out of the lion's den at once. Then the king made a further command that the wicked princes, the men who had plotted against Daniel, be thrown into the lion's den in Daniel's place. And then the king signed another law. This law said that all men were to tremble and fear God. The God of Daniel was the living God and lives forever. God's kingdom will not be destroyed or end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions.
Good morning, kids. This is Sasha.
And this is Leah, and today we will be showing you how to make peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. For this recipe, you will need a half cup softened butter, 1 cup of sugar, a third cup of milk, 1.5 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a half teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, a half cup of oats, and a half cup of chocolate chips. Firstly, add the butter and sugar to the bowl.
Now you would combine the butter and the sugar using a mixer or a spoon.
Mix the butter and sugar until it comes together like this.
Now add the peanut butter to the butter and sugar mixture.
Next, add the oats to the mixture and mix well.
Now add in your milk, vanilla essence and cinnamon.
Next, gradually add in the flour to the mixture and mix well.
Lastly, add in your chocolate chips. And that's it, the cookie dough is finished.
Now, grease your baking tray and spoon the mixture onto it.
Now place in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. This is the final result. I hope you guys enjoy this video and do give these delicious cookies a try. Bye!
Good morning, boys and girls. Today's story is about the little apple. Once upon a time, there was a little apple. The little apple clung tightly to the branch as a gentle breeze blew by. An older apple, watching the younger apple's despair, laughed and said, "Looks like you're holding on to that branch for dear life, little buddy." The little apple watched up at the older apple and said, "I am. I don't want to fall to the ground. Don't you know it's hard and dusty down there? The ground is filled with worms and creepy crawling bugs. Why, just take a look for yourself. Can't you see all the rotten apples down there?" The older apple thought for a moment and then replied, "I know you're concerned about falling from the tree, but some good things have come from the ground." "That's not the life for me," said the little apple. "I plan on being handpicked by a special family, taken to their home and placed into a beautiful fruit bowl. With my shiny red skin, I shall be the most delicious looking piece of fruit in the entire bowl." The older apple gently replied, "There is much more to being an apple than just having shiny red skin." "Yes, I know," the little apple quickly interrupted. "One of the children will probably take me to school for lunch or perhaps have me for a snack at school. He or she will know that I was more than just a beautiful apple with a shiny red peel. he or she will find out that my fruit is great tasting and healthy for him or her. Yes, yes, you could be all those things for a season, the older apple tried to reply. But once again the little apple broke in. Why, after he or she is finished eating the fruit, and all that is left is my core, he or she will, and the little apple's voice dropped, will probably throw my core in the trash. The little apple wanted to cry. Yes, replied the older apple, that is what your life could be like. If you decide to live for the moment and choose to reap the quick rewards, whatever do you meet? What other life is there? Asked the little apple. I have been trying to tell you, if you just slow down for a moment and listen. The older apple calmly explained, when the winds come, you may be shaken from the tree and fall to the ground. It is then that your shiny red skin will keep you from splitting apart and becoming applesauce. Once on the ground, a hungry bird or squirrel may find you and carry you away from the base of the tree. Once you've met its needs and filled its stomach, it shall leave your core and a little fruit behind. That doesn't sound any better, the little apple screeched. In fact, it sounds worse. Please, allow me to finish, the older apple said sternly. Then your real work begins. Once you are left on the ground, the rest of your fruit shall slowly rot and blend into the ground. It is at this point that your seed shall be buried into the earth. For a period of time, the seeds will remain in the ground, but then, ever so slowly, something wonderful begins to happen. The seeds begin to sprout, breaking through the dirt. The sunlight and the rain help the sprout to grow into a small tree. Within a few seasons, the tree shall grow big enough to start producing apples of its own. From then on, the tree shall produce hundreds of apples each season. So you see, little apple, there is much more that you can be. All the little apples could say was wow. As the winds picked up, you could see both the apples swinging in the breeze, hoping beyond hope to fall to the ground and begin their life's work. Our lives can be very much like these apples. We can choose to only have fun in the moment and live to enjoy the things of today. We can have plans for ourselves, like going to school and doing well, or even becoming a doctor or a teacher when we grow up. But God always has better plans for us. We need to be patient, have faith, and listen carefully to what He tells us to do. Nothing is wrong with wanting good things for ourselves, like toys, gifts, but these things, they only last a short time. They don't last forever. We should use our time, talent, and money that God gives us for His purpose and glory. Let's have faith in God and His will for our lives. He has great things planned for us. We just have to have faith and place our lives in His hands.
Audio Jungle.
Hi everyone, today we will be doing a science experiment using two common household items, baking soda and vinegar. We will be combining both items to look at the reaction that they form. Vinegar is acidic while baking soda is a base. So we have a bowl as well And here we poured out the baking soda into a cup and the vinegar into a separate cup. So let's pour the vinegar into the bowl. Next we will be pouring the baking soda into the bowl as well. So there you can see the reaction. When baking soda and vinegar is combined, they form carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a heavy, colorless gas, and when breathing, we exhale or breathe out carbon dioxide. For the first part of our experiment, we combined baking soda and vinegar in a bowl to form carbon dioxide. For the second part of our experiment, we'll be using a few more household items. We'll be using an empty bottle, a balloon, a funnel. You can use a regular funnel or a paper funnel. We created a paper funnel using a paper clip and a piece of paper. Some more baking soda and vinegar. We will be trying to capture the carbon dioxide in this balloon. So you need to pay close attention to these steps. The first step would be to empty your vinegar in your empty bottle. So you need to be careful, try not to spill it. Right, so there you have the vinegar in the empty bottle. The next step would be placing your baking soda in the balloon using your funnel. You can use your paper funnel, or some of you may have a plastic funnel, that's okay. So you would place the funnel, the narrow end of the funnel in the balloon, and then empty your baking soda in there. It may be a bit difficult to go in, just give it a shake, it would go in gradually. Right, so we have all our baking soda in our balloon. Now, this part you need to be a bit careful. You need to place the head of your balloon over the mouth of the bottle and then turn it around. We would be experimenting to see if the balloon would capture the carbon dioxide. So let's turn over the balloon and empty the baking soda in the vinegar. As you can see, the balloon is inflating. So the carbon dioxide is now in the balloon. So now that we have finished with our experiment, let's think about the bottle as ourselves, and the vinegar and baking soda as character traits such as kindness and goodness, and the balloon as others around us. Sometimes we have kindness and goodness within ourselves because we know God. However, others may not have it. When we share it with others, we help them to grow, just like the balloon grew in this particular situation. So let's continue to show others kindness, continue to show them goodness as we reflect on the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Let's help others to grow, and let's help them to come closer to God.
Hi everyone! So today we're going to paint these. These are the list of items that you would need. So let's get started. Firstly, you'll need a sheet of newspaper, or you can use napkins. This is to place on the table so that it can be easy to clean any mess that occurs. Make sure that it is smooth when placed in it. Secondly, you'll need 3 cups, and you can choose any material which you prefer. I choose clay, sanitary, and plastic. Then you'll need other items such as paint, fur balls with eyes, shiny sticks, beads of your choice, glue of course, markers and sticky tapes. You'll also need a cup of water to rinse your paintbrushes when finished. So we are going to get started with this object first. So we're going to take our sanitary cups, choose the color green, and we are going to paint our entire cup into that color. Take your paintbrush, dip it in your green, and let's get started painting. Take your time and paint the entire cup green. When you have finished painting your whole cup green, you can place that cup aside so it can dry. Put your paintbrush into your water and stir thoroughly so it can be clean, so that we can start our another color. We are going to paint this object. So get your other pot and get your other color, which is red. Take your paintbrush, dip it in a red, and let's get started painting. Take your time and paint the whole cup red. Put that aside to dry and let's start our third object. Take our black cup and we are going to use yellow to make yellow stripes since our cup is already black. Before so, we are going to use our sticky tape so that we can form straight and neat lines. So go ahead, take your tape and form lines. When your first line is finished, go ahead and make other lines with your sticky tape around the cup. After doing so, this is how your cup should look. Now we are going to take the yellow and paint the black lines without the sticky tape on it. Take your time so that we can be neat. So again, we are painting the black lines without the tape on it. Go ahead and do so for your other line. Finish, we are going to make our pattern on our green cup. So we are going to take our yellow paint once again and we are going to make downward stripes. So dip your paintbrush and we are going to make downward stripes. Go ahead, take your time and make those stripes. These stripes should be all around the cup. Secondly, when that is finished, we are going to take our shiny sticks, and I have already placed beads at the end of my sticks, and I'm going to take scotch tape or sticky tape and place it at the end of those sticks so that it can stick to my cup. Place it to the end of your shiny stick and then go inside your cup and stick that in. Now that's one down, we have one more to go. Take your sticky tape, place it at the end of your shiny stick and then stick it inside your cup. It should look like antennas. When you are finished, you can place it aside so it can dry. Then we are going in with our second design. So we are taking our red cup and we are going to go for this image. So we'll need our black marker to draw our dots. Firstly, we'll have to draw a triangle in the middle. So let's take our triangle
And then we are going to color inside that triangle. Make sure that the whole thing is colored properly. When that is over, we are going in with our circles. So draw small circles all around the cup, and you are going to color inside those circles as well. Take your time and color inside those circles. So when you are finished, your cup should look something like this. And when that is over, you are going in with your shiny sticks like we did with the first, and we are going to stick it inside our cup. We are also going to stick our eyes. Your finished cup should look like this. Place it aside and we are going to do our last cup. So, we are going to take our time and remove the tape that we have placed to form the lines. When the tape is being removed, there should be a black line. That's okay if they are smudged. We will clean that after. So go ahead, take your time and remove your tape. To clean the smudge, we are going in with a wet napkin, and we are carefully going to wipe those black lines to make it clean. So take your time with your napkin and gently rub it against the black so that the yellow smudge can be removed. Okay, so when everything is done, this is how our 3 items should look. I've placed flowers in mine, I've placed markers in mine, and I've also placed cookies in mine. You can place whatever you like in yours. That's it for our craft today, kids. Hope you enjoyed and see you next time.